Thanks for having us, Nate. Just want to take a quick minute to introduce myself, Sandy Bondurant, partner with Vertex Investments, LLC Holdings, and John Funderburk, who's also joined us, head of our investor relations. We have an upcoming syndication, as you know, our second syndication as a team, and we've partnered with Directed IRA as our preferred custodian in bringing investors on board who are using a previous employer 401k, self-directed IRA, solo 401k, etc. So Nate, we were kind of hoping that maybe you could give a little insight to our potential investors on how this process works and what that looks like.
I'd love to, and thanks for having me on, John and Sandy. One of the things that I love about this industry, the self-directed IRA industry, is I've got to, teach people over the last 12 years that they do not have to just invest their retirement into traditional investments like stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Most of us do not even understand how that world works, yet 98% of people with retirement accounts invest in those assets. Now, there's nothing wrong with those assets, but I think it's important for anybody listening to this. If you don't already know your retirement plan, whether it's an IRA, an old 401k, an old 403b, an old 457 plan, those can be invested into alternative assets like real estate. And for us to survive as a self-directed IRA administrator that holds those types of assets, we have to lean on investors like you guys to bring investors to us because we don't sell investments to our clients. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You guys are experts in the field of investing into multifamily and new syndications. And if people want to invest their hard-earned dollars in their retirement plans into something like a syndication, something more private, something that's on Main Street, not Wall Street, they bring their IRAs to us. We fund the investment. We could talk a little about how that process works. It's a lot easier than people think. But I have seen over the last decade more and more people take their money out of the stock market and invest in these private assets like syndication. So thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. And I'll say personally, for me, it's been a game changer. I'm now a partner in 6 different syndications, 4 of them using my previous employer 401k funds through a self-directed IRA. So big,
Yeah.
big trajectory changer. And it was about education. It was about learning how to do that and understanding that it is possible. I think what I found with my peers is most of us, we didn't realize it was a doable thing. We had no idea we could use funds to do that. So
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
the same way. I started in real estate back in 2004, and I didn't even hear the word self-directed IRA until 2012. I mean, almost 10 years buying and selling my own real estate before somebody told me, "Hey, did you know there's a self-directed IRA out there that allows you to buy real estate in your IRA? Oh, and by the way, you don't have to pay any capital gains taxes on the investments in there." And I at first thought that's illegal. I've never heard about it. There's no way the government lets us invest in real estate and pay no taxes. But lo and behold, it's been out there, and it's really it's not even a secret. It's maybe just an unknown. Like you didn't
Yep.
know. Everybody I know, they never knew about it. They wish they knew about it 10 years prior to knowing it. Your IRA can invest in the same thing since the mid 70s when IRAs were created. You just have to find a company, a custodian that will hold the investments that you want to own. And if you want to hold investments like syndications, you've got to have an IRA with a company like us instead of a company like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. So yes, it is a game changer, especially if you're somebody that knows and loves real estate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so for me, one of the things when I first went into my first syndication, I didn't know about it either. But when I got the education, 30% of my new investors came in as in a self-directed IRA. Some with you, some with another company. So one of my problems in educating them was what should they expect when they come in? How long of a time frame? What type of paperwork is it gonna take? So could you go into that a little bit to educate people with that?
Yes, of course. And that's one of the big kind of unknowns. And truthfully, that's a great point that you bring up because a lot of people, I guess, even when they first hear about a self-directed IRA, about 50% of the people don't don't do it because they don't know what the process is. It's kind of the fear of the unknown. And the process is really pretty straightforward when you look at it. If you want to take your IRA or old 401k and invest into things like real estate, things that Fidelity or Charles Schwab won't hold, first, you just got to go online and fill out an application. Just like you open an IRA at Fidelity or Charles Schwab, you go to directedira.com, fill out an application, you establish your IRA. Now, an IRA is no different anywhere else. So it's going to look and feel the same when you open the account and when you fund the account. Now, there's 3 ways you fund your self-directed IRA. One is you can make a contribution. Obviously, your annual contributions can go to an IRA here or an IRA somewhere else. The most common ways that we see people fund their IRAs, though, is through a transfer. They maybe have an IRA at Fidelity or Charles Schwab. They fill out a transfer request with us. We send that to them. They wire the funds over. That is usually the most common way people fund their IRAs, is just by IRA to IRA transfer, custodian A to custodian B. The third way, second most common way, is if you have an old employer plan or 401k, you can roll those funds over into an IRA or self-directed IRA, usually when you have separation of service. So step one, open the account. Step two, fund the account. Step three is where it gets a little bit more where we call self-directed. The client, the person opening the account, has to tell us what the investment is. Remember, we're not going to sell the investment, but the beautiful part about, if you're listening to this, well, you've got Sandy and John here who have investments, alternative investments that they can provide or suggest to you. So if you like their investments, here's how we take your funded IRA and invest into that. Usually we just need two documents. We need the client to fill out our internal form called our direction of investment form. This is similar to pushing a button and buying a stock, but we don't have a button to buy a syndication. You just fill out a form and say, hey, directed IRA, I give you the authority to invest in this new syndication. Here's the name of it. Here's the wiring instructions. And with that form, we always need just a copy of the agreement, whatever the investment agreement is, whether it's a PPM or whether it's an LLC where we've got an operating agreement. We have to show the agreement between the IRA being the investor and the investment sponsor. So it's really pretty easy when you look at it. Step one, open the account. Step two, fund it. Step three, self-direct it by giving us two forms, the internal form, our direction investment form, and whatever the agreements are. And here's the cool thing about working with you guys. You guys already know what the agreements are supposed to be. I know Sandy personally self-directs her own IRA into similar investments. So if you're watching this again, you've got a lot of people that you can lean on. I guarantee you, your investment, your first self-directed IRA investment, is going to probably feel a lot easier than maybe mine or Sandy's, because you're going to be dealing with people that self-direct their own IRAs. So it's going to be really easy when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. Well, gosh, I can't thank you enough, Nate, for jumping on with us. And if anything, for our viewers, I hope this kind of puts the process out there, makes it a little less of an unknown, gives you a little bit of clarity. And as Nate mentioned, John and I are a resource for you. So I'd encourage you to reach out so we can continue to get you in the syndication process and expand your investing experience. And we'll certainly look to partner you with Directed IRA. And again, thank you, Nate, for your time today.
Not a problem. Thank you guys for everything you do. And I hope to hear from anybody watching this program. Let's help you guys self-direct and start investing into more assets that you better understand.